right, welcome everybody to the winners bracket finals. We've got JNL on the bottom of your screen. We've got OldRich up at the top. JNL, as I mentioned, is on Skycrag Tandem. Let's play a bunch of 1-drops and 2-drops, and let's go aggro. OldRich kind of taking the literal exact opposite approach with Combre Ramp. Play a bunch of Ramp and play some Rats. So this will be a very, I don't know, one side or the other matchup, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean it's really going to come down to sort of what tools OldRich has. We sort of talked about it in their last matchup against the Stone Scar deck, where there they sort of really needed the big high end things, and here it's going to be a lot more about the Defiances, the Just Desserts, the Equalizes, like really the cheap things that are going to allow them to sort of keep this Skycrag deck at bay. And for JNL, classic Skycrag things. Let's keep the pressure, get the pressure going early, and let's get rolling. And you see, first of all,
Turn one Builder's
immediate
Decree.
immediate big difference from last match. Turn one Builder's Decree.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow. I mean, credit
and then
to
and then JNL top decks the best 1-drop possible. Are you kidding me?
Wow, credit to OldRich though. Talk about knowing your matchup. How different we saw OldRich play the last game versus this game. Turn 1, turn 2 Builder's Decrees. That's something you don't see very often. But recognizing the matchup and understanding, open deck lets help with that a lot, of course. But wow, and JNL just going torch to the face.
Open deck list helped a lot. Skycrag Insignia into Oniron. Yeah, I wonder if this matchup's going to be fast.
True. Good point. All right, well, both those auto treads are opened up here for JNL, so we'll see. This Just Desserts is going to take care of that. But, of course, the Warcry trigger still went off.
Oh, yeah.
Let's drop a pair of auto treads here.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see when exactly this Emblem of Linrai gets decimated, because, it's not like we actually are going to need 5 power this game. JNL's flooded out a little bit already, but Emblem of Linrai, Emblem of Shavka, one of the things that helps make these Skycrag aggro decks tick.
Wow, look at this aggressiveness. Discarded the other auto tread and then discarded another power to just make auto tread a 4/4 and ping twice. That is aggressive.
Yep. And speaking of aggressive, how about a League Explorer off the top?
Oh, and because you still get, this is one of my favorite things about the emblems and the decimate, by the way, is that you still get the power. So is able to decimate, get the ice elemental, and then play both 2-drops. Wow.
And here's one thing I love about this Skycrag deck. Doesn't draw a lot of cards. Yep. Normally equalizes all upside text, but you can't play cards from your hand is not going to be that this game.
Equalize.
Oh, I think this was a big error by OldRich. I'm fortunate to call this out, but like you got to fire off that Builder's Decree first, right? Like there's no way you're holding on to that.
Yeah.
Oh no, it is. Okay, never mind. So they got a plan. They
all right.
I apologize. This was their plan. They knew what they were doing. They wanted to hold on to Builder's Decree. If you were going to discard it to the Equalize, you definitely fire it off first. That just wasn't their plan.
Right. Okay. Well, they're not going to fire it off, and then they're going to draw a Diana. But one very important thing about that Diana, look up here to the single time influence. Diana does require 2 time and 4 justice, so that is not a free 4-drop. You definitely have to work to get that 4-drop on time, and OldRich does not have that second time influence. They are out of time in all senses of the word in this game.
It's definitely short, both in terms of one and they've got maybe one turn to top deck here. If they can't make a good play this turn, that's going to be it. The Seed of Progress, is that enough? It's close, right?
Close. That's going to.
And we know who is following. So the auto trade goes face. It drops down to 10. Diana blocks the 3/2. Everything else, they go down to a virtual 4, and then the game kind of keeps on rolling from there.
Well, you could also just kept OldRich alive for a turn, yeah.
Yeah, all right. I like this attack. I think this was good. Next turn, we're going to have a Builder's Decree, though. This is going to be super close.
Gallon Man, thank you for the follow. And Who77, thank you so
much. I mean, everything might matter here. The Combre painting, gaining one
holding
health,
on to that Builder's Decree to make a 6/6 blocker.
Yeah. I mean, I just sort of assumed we were going to hold on to something else, not the Builder's Decree. But if that was the plan, it made sense for what OldRich did. We see the invasive species forced to attack.
Oh, you talked about the invasive species forced to attack, but then pitching with the auto tread means you just get it back.
That combo is fantastic. I mean, it's not like it's the best thing in the world, but the fact that you sort of like your invasive species never dies
Yeah.
is like you're really doing a thing to like take advantage, get rid of one of the biggest drawbacks of the card.
I mean, worst case scenario, JNL can just sit back and ping OldRich to death. It might take a while. I'm not sure it's going to be able to be enough, but
I think we're gonna see an attack now, though.
yeah, look at that Houndmaster. That's going to give you a free 4/4 attacking. So basically, gonna 4/1, right? It's been updated. Sorry about that. 4/1. You guys are switching
Perfect
things on me.
blocks, perfect blocks by OldRich. You know that didn't even work out that great. It got 2 damage through,
Yeah.
but
All right, Iron Ursa, the draw.
okay, that's a big deal.
So
So
this
by
has it
playing
has
that,
stealth. It's Overwhelm, Reckless, Stealth. The 3/2.
yep.
You can attack again to get the Magma Hound, get an extra 4/1. As you mentioned, just kind of getting in for 2 damage, throwing away a unit to get in 2 damage. But when OldRich is at 3, it's kind of worth it at this point.
So now we see
Equalize.
another equalize. I think, but that's gonna the Iron Ursa is gonna stop that.
Yeah.
I think OldRich. Wow, did they want to wait one more turn on the equalize? The Iron Ursa was gonna flip over. I don't know if there's a second hidden unit in JNL's deck.
Yeah, I don't
We're
think
gonna see
so.
face, and I think
Yeah, and that's enough. Unless OldRich has anything, they don't. They just have a seat. So this is just going to be lethal. So yeah, that Ursa
Xaxes.
was huge. Counting that equalize. Nicely done by
No,
JNL.
it was just a 3-2. Oh, you meant an impact on the game. Yeah, it was
Ah,
game winning.
yeah, yeah.
It was a game winning top deck. Oh, you meant that kind of huge.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, you
look at
got me.
that one copy. Why would you need more? And 2 sanity scorchers. Ooh, that's nasty.
Oh yeah, that was the
Just really
single
mixing up the
copy.
stealth units so they didn't know. And there was like a 1 in 3 chance that it would be the Ursa and not a sanity scorcher. Ooh, JNL, you nasty. All right, so that got them over the finish line in a super close game.
I think that's probably what the N stands for, right? Just nasty.
If you're gonna start that, you got to know
Couldn't
where
come
you're
up
going
with a good
that,
L. Couldn't
man.
come up with a
I
good
know,
L.
man.
I was hoping you would.
How about this? How about this?
You would chime
Just
in
not
with
lo-
the L there.
How about this? Just not losing,
There
because
you
that's
go.
all we've seen today.
That is true. You got me. Thanks for coming to the
So,
rescue there, buddy.
yeah, absolutely, man. And so for game, and so that was funny. So we saw a lot of builders decrees each time out of OldRich. Very different in this match, wasn't it?
It
With
was
the
very
builders
different.
decrees being used on turns 1 and turns 2 to just slow down the 1 and 2 drops.
How about this hand? JNL on the play again. Snowcrust Yeti, Oni, Ronin, League Explorer. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good hand. It's a good opener.
Yeah.
Dude, I could try to give you a lot of reasons, but everyone at home knows it's a good opener, and they know a bunch of the reasons why it's a good opener. They've lost to a lot of hands like this before if they've played Eternal. So we'll see if OldRich can do something about it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, you and I have talked about this offline as well, but yeah, aggro decks get underplayed, I think, a little bit. I think that, we see this in TNE too. It's very, very rare that people bring like a Skycrag aggro deck, and yet whenever they do, it gets to top 8, gets to top 4, like gets to the finals. Like, I don't know if it's just tournament atmosphere or people, with open deck lists or what, but people bring aggro decks like this, and they're hard to beat. They're good. They require an answer.
You play mid-range and control decks, and the game goes on for a while, and so you add a little bit more sauce to beat the other people. You go a little more over the top of them, and that sort of thing can go back and forth for a while, where it's like, oh, okay, you're playing D'Angelo's Mites, well, I'm playing all 4 copies of D'Angelo's Mites, and those sorts of ideas, and then all of a sudden, somebody like JNL notices, it's like, what are you guys doing? I'm going to play a 1-drop and attack you, and
Yeah.
that sort of brings the metagame sometimes back down to earth a little bit, and then we start. And so it's always kind of important to know where, not just where you want to be, not just how good your deck is, but sometimes if you want to be playing at the absolute highest level in tournaments, like where do I think other people are going to be? And it's basically the most complicated version of rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock that you can imagine.
Nice. Champion of Fury going to be the play here for JNL. That does have charge and overwhelm. Going to hit in for 4 thanks to that perfect influence. And then following up with an Oni Ronin. Enter the Monastery for OldRich. Is going to get their ramp on a little bit. And they've got 2 copies of Equalize and a Shenra Speaks in hand. JNL's got 2 more units. Now, does JNL hold back against a harsh spell here? Or are they just going at it and dumping their hand here? Oof. It's
I mean, I think
hard
it's
not to dump
mostly
your
with
hand.
Skycrag. It's when you they can leave a little bit back. Like they don't need to go much more than this. Okay, so wow.
Ugh. Get the depth charge off, but it's
Here's
basically
the thing,
saying I
though.
win next turn if you don't have it.
Yeah, they're saying one, I definitely win next turn, and two, even if you have the equalize, that's the rest of your hand.
Right.
And it's not the worst place to be for a Skycrag deck. It's kind of true that it's like if you're gonna make them discard most of the cards in their hand when they have equalize, do you maybe just want to make them discard the rest of their cards in hand? Do you want to be faced with like Oni Ronin in hand plus the best card in their hand? And that's sort of
Yeah.
what
Good
JNL
point.
did here. It's not a natural play. It's very common you'd want to hold on to one card in hand in a spot like this. But when it means they lose literally every card and you get to top deck first, it makes sense.
Yeah, I like
And now
that.
he could see Torch plus Invasive Species
I like the way
helping
you phrase
JNL's
that.
spot.
So if you play around the equalize specifically, you're saying yes, I get to keep my Oni Ronin, but they get to keep their best card. So
Right.
is my empty versus your empty better than my Oni Ronin versus your best card? And yeah, I think you're right. That's a very good way to put it.
Who's top decking better in this spot? Like, just look at what's happened.
Mm.
OldRich got one chance to top deck. They got a second. They got a Defiance, and
Yeah, but
that's just it.
It's not going to be enough because that Imrik got Aegis here. All right, JNL, the winner of the winner bracket. JNL is going straight to the final.